Wall Street's three major indexes all ended higher as investors sought bargains following last week's sell-off. Market participants are eagerly anticipating the upcoming inflation report in the US and the US Federal Reserve's next policy decision, which is scheduled for next week. This Reuters report gets you a lowdown on all the action in the US stock markets.
U.S. stocks rebounded Monday after selling off the previous week. The Dow, S&P 500, and Nasdaq all rose about 1.2% each. Investors had fled from equities last week when Friday's weaker-than-expected August jobs data followed weak manufacturing data on Tuesday. That led to the Nasdaq's biggest weekly loss since January 2022 and the S&P 500's biggest weekly decline since March 2023. Key economic reports out this week include consumer and producer prices ahead of the Federal Reserve's meeting next week. Investors currently see a 100% chance policymakers cut interest rates, with about 70% odds that cut is a quarter of a point, according to CME's FedWatch tool. Regardless of how much policymakers decide to cut rates this time, Will McGough, Director of Investments with Prime Capital Investment Advisors, says they need to keep cutting them to avoid harming the economy.
Everybody has the spotlight on Jerome Powell and the Fed right now. We know they're behind the curve, so to speak, with interest rates being way too high compared to everybody else, all other central banks around the globe. And they really need to normalize rates to be back in line with where economic data is and where they're